Hello everyone, so I am Amy and I will be your yoga teacher for the day. So today we're going to be doing a twisty yoga flow, a nice vinyasa flow. It'll wake you up if this is the morning. So twists are believed to improve our digestion and our circulation, and they just get our body moving in a way that we don't do that much in everyday life. So if you're new around here, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and please like this video and leave a comment letting me know what you thought of it. As always, everything I say is optional, so please listen to your body and take whichever movements work for you. So to get started today, we're going to begin standing right at the top of our mat. So bring the feet to hip width apart, making sure that the heel is centered through the widest part of the foot, rooting down through all 10 toes, maybe rocking from side to side, from front to back, maybe rocking round in circles, then finding that perfect sweet spot of balance with the weight evenly distributed through all four corners of the feet. You can bend the knees just slightly to create space for your lower back to lengthen down and draw up through both sides of the waist. Roll the shoulders down and back away from the ears, shining the collarbones forward, and you can dip the chin slightly to find some length down the back of the neck. If you're not already, start to take deep breaths in and out through the nose, taking long, slow, smooth, deep breaths. As you inhale, fill the belly up with air from top to bottom, left to right, front to back. And as you exhale, release all of that air, maybe contracting the core slightly to get every last drop of air out. Take a few more breaths here on your own, feeling your feet rooting down into the earth, feeling the crown of your head reaching up towards the sky. On your next inhale, sweep both arms up overhead, sending energy through the fingertips up towards the sky, keeping the gaze straight ahead and the shoulders down away from the ears. And as you breathe out, send the right arm back and the left arm forward, twisting open to the right. Take a moment here. Make sure that your arms are parallel to the floor, that you're sending energy out through both fingertips. And make sure that both of your hip bones are pointing forward. So imagine your hip bones are like the headlights on a car and you want them to be shining right towards the top of the mat. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, and exhale, twisting open to the left, to the other side. Hips are square, sending energy through the fingertips. So imagine like there's a piece of string on both of your hands, pulling them apart from each other. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Now we'll flow through both sides. Exhale, open to the right. Inhale, arms overhead, and breathe out, twisting to the left. Inhale, sweep those arms up. Keep the gaze straight ahead. Exhale, open to the right. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, twisting open to the left, twisting from the upper spine. One more time on each side. Open to the right. Back up through centre, open to the left. Now sweep the arms up overhead, reach long, stretch up tall, and breathe out. Bend the knees deeply, hinge from the hips, coming down into your forward fold. You can bend the knees as much as you need to help you find a nice long spine. So the aim here is not to reach your hands to the floor or to have straight legs. The aim is to keep that lovely long spine. Now find some intuitive movement here, maybe bending and straightening one leg at a time, maybe swaying the torso from side to side, Notice whether there's any tension in your head and neck, so maybe wobble the head from side to side, letting go of any tension there. Take a few more breaths in here, just loosening up through the body, keeping that deep breath. On your next inhale, come up to a flat back, drawing the shoulders away from the ears, drawing the chest forward. And breathe out back into your forward fold. Now as you next breathe in, sweep both arms up overhead. And breathe out back down into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, nice long spine. And exhale, release down into your forward fold. Breathe in, sweep the arms up. And breathe out, folding back down. Feeling that stretch through the legs. Fill the lungs with air as you lift the chest, maybe pressing your hands into your shins to help you find that nice opening through the chest. And breathe out, release into your fold. One more time, fill the lungs with air as you rise up towards the sky. And release that air as you fold back down into your Uttanasana. Now, if your hands aren't already on the mat, place them there, rooting down through all 10 fingertips, spreading through the fingers, pressing into the knuckles. Then step one foot at a time to the back of your mat, coming into your plank. You can drop the knees at absolutely any time that you need to. Any time that we visit our plank, you can just come down onto the knees. Whichever option you've chosen, make sure that the shoulders are stacking over the elbows, which are stacking over the wrists. And if you've got your knees off the ground, find some energy through the feet. So imagine like you're pressing your heels into an invisible wall behind you. Engage through the core, drawing the navel up towards the spine. And gazing down just a few inches in front of your fingers. Take a few more deep breaths in and out here, really firing up the core. One more deep breath in, and then breathe out. Send the hips up towards the sky, coming back into your downward facing dog. Your heels don't have to reach the ground, just like we were before. We're aiming for a nice long spine rather than caring about achieving any specific shape. And once again, find some intuitive movement here, maybe pedaling through the legs, maybe swaying the hips from side to side, or maybe just finding some stillness if that is what your body is calling for today. Spin your biceps away from your ears, so imagine like you're trying to hide your armpits from me, and keep those shoulders away from the ears. Send the tailbone up towards the sky, and find some energy through the legs. Now you're going to shorten your stance slightly, so walk the feet in about 1 foot step. Then lift your right hand off the mat and take your right hand to grab the outside of your left ankle. Then bend the right elbow to pull the chest through, coming into a nice twisty down dog. Take a few more deep breaths in here, feeling that opening, feeling that twist. Now you can stay here, or if you're feeling brave, you can maybe try and hover that right foot just a few inches above the mat, really rooting down through the left foot and the left hand, feeling into those wobbles. And place that foot back down, release that hand. Take a breath in to reset. Maybe sigh it out through the mouth. Now going for the other side, so rooting down through the right hand and the right foot, grabbing the outside of the right ankle with the left hand, and bending that elbow to pull yourself into the twist. Deep breaths in and out through the nose. Now once again you can stay here, or you can root down through the right hand and the right foot and then lift that left foot off the mat. You might just lift it just a single centimetre or two, it does not have to come up high. If you fall out, that's okay. Feeling into those wobbles. And place that foot back down, release the ankle and step it out to a nice long downward facing dog. Now inhale. Sweep that right leg up towards the sky. Keep the hips and the shoulders level, so notice whether you're dumping all of your weight into one shoulder. Notice whether the hip is really hiking up. Then bend that top knee, let your foot fall towards your bum, and then start making some nice big circles with that right knee. So imagine like there's a paintbrush on your knee and you're trying to paint a circle in the air. Switch directions from whichever direction you were going in. There might be some clicks, some funny noises, that's absolutely fine. Now finish off your circle, extend that leg back out straight. Now draw the right knee in towards the nose, rounding through the spine, hold it here. Imagine like there is a magnet drawing your knee and your nose towards one another. And then step that foot through between the hands, drop the back knee down. Check to make sure that your right knee is stacking directly above your right ankle. Find some energy in the legs. So notice the difference in just sinking down, letting it all go, and then really engaging, and just find that sweet middle ground. So we're still feeling a stretch, but we're also nice and engaged. You can bring the hands to the hips. You can have the hands down on the mat. You can have the hands reaching up towards the sky. One more deep breath in here. And release that air. Now place that left hand down on the mat, stacking the wrist underneath the shoulder, and then sweep that right arm up towards the sky, coming into a twist. You can take some circles with that right wrist, so bringing the hand into a fist, circling the wrist. I'm making a little rhyme here. And you can maybe take some circles with the arm, maybe going in one direction and then the other direction. Now place that hand back on the outside of the foot, lift the back knee, step it back to your plank, hold here for just an extra breath, and then send it back to downward facing dog. We'll take those straight onto the other side. So inhale, sweep that left leg up towards the sky, hips and shoulders are square, weight is rooting down evenly through both hands. Then bend that knee and start to make some circles. Feeling that opening in the hips, keeping some energy in the fingertips, and switch directions. Now inhale, sweep that leg back up towards the sky. Exhale, round through the spine, engage the core to help you draw that knee towards your nose. Hold it here for just a moment. Imagine there's a string pulling your knee towards the top of the mat. And then step that foot through between the hands. Drop the back knee down. Same as before, find some energy in the inner thighs. So drawing the left hip back and the right hip forward. Hands to the mat, to your hips, or up towards the sky. Stacking the head over the heart, over the hips. Softening the shoulders away from the ears. One more deep breath in here. Then breathe out as you place that right hand under the right shoulder. Sweep that left arm up towards the sky. Feel that opposition between the right hand rooting into the earth and the left hand reaching up towards the sky. Maybe take the hand into a fist and make those circles with the wrist. Maybe take some circles with the arm, making sure to go in both directions. Now place that hand back on the mat, tuck under the back toes, step it back to plank and back to your downward facing dog. Take a moment here to reset, reconnect to the breath if you lost it. Preparing to take it up just a little bit on this next sequence. So inhale, sweep the right leg up towards the sky. Exhale, draw the knee in towards the nose. Inhale, sweep it up towards the sky. Exhale, knee towards nose. One more time. Sweep that leg high and draw it into the nose. Step that foot through. Once again, drop the back knee down. The toes of the back foot can be flat or they can be tucked under. It is up to you. Just like we did before, root down through the left hand, sweep the right hand up towards the sky. Option number 1 is just to stay here if this feels good for you. Option number 2 is to lift that left hand off the mat and spin into a twisted low lunge. So once again, finding energy through the fingertips, finding energy through the legs, arms are parallel to the floor. You can stay here or you can tuck under the back toes if they're not already. Power up through that back leg to lift the back knee off the floor, coming into a twisted crescent lunge. Keeping that alignment of the front knee over the front ankle, really engaging through the glutes, sending some energy out through the left heel, twisting from the upper spine. Inhale here, exhale, send it into your evolved reverse warrior, maybe placing the hand on the calf as that top arm reaches back. Unravel back into your twisted crescent and then sweep the arms up overhead. If you're in your low lunge, you can sweep the arms up overhead from there. Deep breaths in and out through the nose here. And then exhale, frame the foot, step it back to plank, work through a vinyasa if that's in your practice. Inhaling into your upward facing dog. Exhale back into your downward facing dog. Once again, just take a moment to reset before we move on to the other side. So inhale, sweep that left leg high. Exhale, knee towards nose. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose. Breathe in, sweep that leg high. And breathe out, draw that knee in for the last time. And then step it through, drop that back knee down. Inhale, sweep the arm up to the sky. And then exhale, if you're taking the next option, lift that hand off the mat, coming into your twisted lunge. Stay here or power up through that back leg, lifting it off the mat, coming into your twisted crescent. Inhale here, making sure you're twisting from the upper spine, really engaging through the glutes. And then exhale, send it back to your revolved reverse warrior. Inhale here, and then exhale, release, unwind, coming into your crescent lunge. Deep breaths in and out through the nose, drawing the shoulders away from the ears. And then breathe out, frame the foot, step it back to your plank, work through your vinyasa if you wish, or just take it straight back to downward facing dog where we will all meet. Now we're going to flow through that again a little bit faster, and we're going to add on slightly. So inhale, sweep that right leg up towards the sky. Exhale, step it straight through, keeping the back knee lifted this time. Sweep that right arm up towards the sky, and then come into your twisted crescent. Inhale, stretch back. Exhale, back to your twisted crescent. Inhale, sweep both arms up overhead. Now exhale, frame the foot. You're going to step your left foot to meet your right, then sink down towards the floor as you sweep the arms up high, coming into your chair pose. Now sink lower than you want to, look down, make sure that you can still see your toes. You can have the hands at prayer, you can take them out into cactus, or you can have them up overhead, so there's lots of options. Really feeling that energy in the legs. One more deep breath in, and then release that air as you release into a forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, release them down by your sides, staying in our Tadasana. Now take the hands to the hips, root down through the right foot, and then step the left foot back slightly. Well, not slightly, stepping it back a fair way, not quite as far as your crescent lunge, so a bit of a shorter stance. The front toes point forwards, and the back toes point out at a slight angle towards the top left corner of the mat. With your hands on your hips, notice whether one hip is maybe tweaking forward or back, and try and bring your hips nice and square. Inhale, get long, and exhale, hinge from the hips, coming down to a flat back into our Parsvokanasana. Keeping some energy in the legs, keeping a long spine, drawing the chest forward. You can stay here, or you can take that left hand down to the mat and sweep that right hand up towards the sky, coming into your Parivarita Parsvokanasana. You can be on the fingertips, you can be down on the hand, or you can be hovering if you'd like an extra challenge, making sure there's length through both sides of the waist. And now frame the foot, step that back foot out a bit more, take it back to plank, work through Vinyasa, or just work straight back to your downward facing dog. We'll go straight for the other side. Inhale, sweep that left leg up. Exhale, step it straight through, keeping the back knee lifted. I can't talk. Inhale, sweep that left arm high, and then exhale, woo, feeling into the wobbles as we come up into our twisted crescent lunge. Inhale, sweep it back. Exhale, unwind back into your crescent. Then frame the foot, step the back foot to meet the front foot, sink the hips low and the arms high. Feet can be together or they can be hip width apart, whichever one feels best for you. Find some energy in the inner thighs. Your legs might be shaking, and that's absolutely fine. Deep breaths in and out here, and release into your fold. Deep breath in as you lift halfway, and deep breath out as you release. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, and breathe out, hands down by the sides, back in our Tadasana. This time you're going to root down through the left foot as you step the right foot back, keeping those hips nice and square. Back toes point out at a slight angle. If you feel a bit wobbly, you can widen your stance from left to right, so taking your left foot further out towards the left hand side of the mat. Breathe in as you get long, grow tall, And breathe out as you hinge from the hips, coming down to a flat back. Once again, you can stay here, or you can take that right hand down as you lift the left arm up, coming into your revolved triangle. You can keep that right hand on the mat, or you can lift it to hover for a little bit of an extra challenge. Breathe in here and breathe out as you frame that foot, step it back to plank, work through your Vinyasa and back to downward facing dog. We're going to start to cool things down slightly. So once again, inhale, sweep that right leg up, exhale, step it through and drop the back knee down, back to a low lunge just like we were at the start. So you're going to root down through the right hand, sweep that right arm up, and this time you're going to straighten through the front leg, so drawing that right hip back, stacking the left hip over the left knee, reaching that left arm up to the sky. You can draw the left hand back so that the shoulder is stacking over the wrist. Really activate that right leg, so pointing the toes up towards the sky, and twist through the upper spine. So imagine like there's a light on your chest and you're trying to shine it onto the wall next to you. Deep breaths in and out through the nose. One more breath in here, and then breathe out. Place that right hand back on the mat. Then you're going to sit back on your left foot and fold forward over the right foot. If this isn't comfortable for you, you can sit off that foot and bring the left foot to the right inner thigh, so coming into a Shavasana, or you can stay sitting on that foot if it's comfortable for you. Think about reaching the chest forward. So rather than reaching down and rounding, we want to be reaching forward and keeping nice and long. So keeping those shoulders away from the ears, keeping space through the chest. Keep that right foot nice and active. Now come back up, take that left foot, plant it on the floor next to the right thigh, keep that right foot active. Now inhale, reach that right arm up, and then exhale, twist over the right knee. So you can just hug the knee, or you can take the left hand behind you and hook the elbow. You can walk the foot further away if that feels better for you. Now unwind. You're going to plant the feet on the floor. You might have to shift yourself forward a little bit. So plant the feet on the floor, knees are pointing upwards. You're going to roll your way down. Don't worry, I've not forgotten about the other side. You're going to hug the knees in, and then you're going to rock back and forth and find the momentum to bring yourself back into a chair pose. Oh yes. Not totally cooling down just yet. Take a few breaths in here. Now bring the hands to the heart. Inhale, get long. Exhale, hook the left elbow over the right knee, twisting to the right, pressing the palms into one another, opening through the chest. Breathe in here and breathe out. Come back to center and twist over the other side, keeping the head in line with the spine, pressing the elbow and the knee towards one another. Breathe in here and breathe out, back to center. One last push and release into your fold. Inhale, halfway lift. exhale, plant those hands on the mat, step it back to plank, work through your chaturanga if you wish, or straight back to downward facing dog. We'll take all of those moves on the other side. So sweep that left leg high and step it through, drop the back knee down, root down through the right hand, sweep up with the left hand, and then straighten that front leg, coming into a twisty half splits. You can walk that right hand back so that it's stacking underneath the shoulders, finding length through both sides of the waist. So notice whether you're just collapsing. Keep things nice and lifted, keep that leg active. Now take that left hand down, continue travelling back, either sitting on your heel or taking that foot out, pressing it into the thigh, into your Janu Shavasana. Inhale to get long, and exhale, drawing the chest towards the toes, keeping a nice long spine as we fold over that leg. Send that breath into the back of the left leg. Now rise up, unravel yourself, stamp that right foot either next to the thigh or next to the knee if that helps you find a bit more length in the spine. So sometimes bringing the foot closer can cause us to round, so maybe take it a bit further away. Once again, inhale, reach that left arm up, and then exhale, either hooking the elbow or giving your knee a nice hug. Keeping those shoulders away from the ear, both ears, we've got two ears, I'm assuming. Keeping that twist in the upper spine, keeping that opening through the chest. So if hooking the elbow means that you collapse, then just take the option to hug instead. We want to keep that nice long spine. And release, send that leg out long. Once again, shift yourself forward on your mat if you need to. Now there's going to be no more chair poses, you'll be pleased to hear. This time we're just going to sweep the arms up overhead and breathe out. Take the right hand to the outside of the left leg and the left hand to the outside of the right leg. We've got lots of lefts and rights today. Inhale to get long, and then exhale, bend the elbows as you deepen into the fold. So the arms are in a bit of a crisscross shape. They can be reaching towards the outside edges of the feet, the ankles, the calves, anywhere along the legs. Make sure that your feet are really active, your legs are really active, so rooting down through the thighs and the calves, hinging from the hips. Sending the breath to wherever you feel the stretch. Now, whichever hand you've got underneath, you're just going to slide it out and cross it over on top. So just switching the cross of the arms, getting long, and then folding. Notice whether there's any tension in your head and neck, maybe tension in your jaw. So maybe wiggle the jaw around, make some circles with it. And release, press your way back up, shift forward, plant the feet on the floor. Now I did say there'd be no more chair poses, but I'm going to sneak in a little boat pose at the end just to get one last bit of power through the core. So you can root down through the feet. You can stay here if this is enough for you. If this has got your core working, then that is absolutely great. You can just stay here. Or with the hands behind the thighs, you can lift the feet off the mat. Notice whether you're rocking back like this and whether you're rounding through the spine. So if taking the feet off the mat means that you round and you collapse back, then just keep them on the mat. Maybe just take off one at a time. If this is working for you, then you can maybe experiment with releasing the hands towards the front of the mat. And if you fancy even more of a challenge, you can try straightening the legs, keeping the chest nice and lifted. 2 more breaths here. And release those feet down onto the mat. Might not have been 2 breaths, but I was getting a bit tired. So if you gave up before me, then I do not blame you. You can extend those arms out long and slowly roll your way down onto your back. Give your knees a big squeeze, thanking yourself for all of the hard work that you've just done. Now take the hands onto the knees and start to take them in circles away from one another. So big circles out towards each side of the mat. Go in one direction and then switch directions. You might hear some clicking sounds in the knees, in the hips, or maybe in the knees as well. Then bring those knees together and take circles with the knees together, massaging out the lower spine. One last squeeze. And then we're going to bring a little bit of opening into the hips before we finish. So take that left foot down onto the mat, cross the right ankle over the left knee, and you can stay here if this is enough for you. Or you can lift that left foot off the mat, thread the hands around the back of the left thigh or around the left shin, drawing the knees towards you. You can use the right elbow to push that right knee open. Make sure that the hips and the shoulders are rooting down into the mat and that that right foot is nice and active. Now release the clasp and let that right foot carry on travelling. So the right leg is going to wrap around the left. You might just take a single wrap like you're just crossing your legs, or you can do a double wrap coming into eagle legs and then let your legs drop over to the left hand side, coming into a twist. Imagine like I've stuck some Velcro underneath your shoulders so they're stuck down onto the mat. You can bend that right elbow to create space for the shoulder to soften. Breathing into the right side body. Now unwind, unravel, and we'll take it to the other side. So crossing that left ankle over the right knee, maybe keeping the right foot on the floor, or wrapping the hands behind the thigh or behind the shin. This side might feel completely different from the other side, and that is okay. Just sending that breath into the hips. Keeping that the left foot, flexed and active. You can flex the right foot if you want to, but you don't have to. Notice whether your shoulders or your hips are lifting off the mat. Try and keep them glued down. And then release the leg. Let that left leg carry on travelling as it twists around, coming into a single or a double wrap. And then dropping those legs over to the right. You can use your right hand to guide them across. either bending that elbow or straightening the arm. Unravel as you're ready, come back to centre, give yourself one final squeeze and then release the legs out long. You can either have them long to the bottom of the mat, letting the feet flop open, or if this doesn't feel great on your lower back, you can stamp the feet on the floor, bending the knees and letting the knees drop towards one another, or you can take a Supta Baddha Konasana variation, so lots and lots of options. Coming into our Shavasana, the most important pose. If you're jumping up to pause the video right now, I invite you just to stay just for a few moments. I know that when I used to practice yoga at home, I was that person. I jumped up, I did not want to stay and be still and be silent. So if that is you, I understand. But this is such an important time to let all of that energy that we've just unleashed during our practice, let it settle throughout the body. So we move to unlock that energy and then we find stillness to let it distribute throughout our entire body. So just take a few moments for yourself to be still, to be silent. If thoughts come up, just let them come, let them be, and let them go. Just return to your breath, return to your body. Notice whether your mind has wandered, whether there is resistance to this stillness, to this silence. Notice whether there's any tension in the body as you resist this relaxation, and just try and soften. As you're ready, start to bring some gentle movement back to the body. So you might wiggle your fingers and toes. You might make some circles with the ankles and the wrists. You might take a big stretch up overhead, stretching out one side and then the other. And just roll over onto whichever side is calling to you. And create a little pillow for your head with your arm. Then slowly press your way up to a comfortable seat. I'll invite you to keep the eyes closed for just a few more moments. Let the hands rest however feels comfortable. Dip the chin. And remind yourself that just as you navigated the twists and the turns of this yoga class, you are also capable of navigating the twists and the turns that life may present to you. dip the chin, flutter the eyes open, lift the gaze, and return to the room that you're in. I mean, you're already in the room, but bringing your attention back to the rest of the world. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I hope to see you again soon. Don't forget to comment letting me know what you thought, and give me a like and hit that subscribe button if you fancy it.